Hey, how is it going again, Guardians? LVnative here with another Destiny video. Now today's video we are going to be taking a look at not one, but two, that is right, you heard me right, two fantastic builds that you can run with your Nightstalker to completely wreak some havoc on that enemy team, bring your KD up, have a little fun melting people's face in the process. But before we get into that, real quick, let's take a look at today's
The Feature Comment of the Day.
Now today's comment comes to us from Ownage Games, and he says, "You're doing an amazing job. I absolutely love your videos, and I'm excited for you to keep giving out great content. Keep up the good work." Well, Ownage Games, thank you so much for that ringing endorsement, and I will do my best in 2017 to live up to that awesome shout out that you were giving me here. I really appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Alright, now that we are done with the pleasantries, let's get on to the good stuff. Alright, so we are going to be taking a look, like I said, at the Nightstalker subclass. Now, there are a couple of different ways, in my opinion, that you can run this to really maximize it. I am going to give you my two favorite ways to run this, alright? So starting things off with our grenades, you've got the spike grenade. Now the spike grenade is cool, it attaches to any surface and emits a torrent of damaging void light. I have seen many more people use this lately, and it is not a bad choice if you just want to completely section off a tunnel or an area that people are unsuspecting. It can really catch them off guard and get you some easy kills. Next up, we have the Void Wall Grenade, a grenade that creates a horizontal wall of burning void light. Now, this is my preferred grenade that I use in most circumstances, and here's why. Take a look at when I throw this on the ground on just how far of an area that this reaches. Now, this is insanely powerful to use, to choke people off, to stop people from pushing into a location. It works wonders, guys. If you haven't been using the Void Wall Grenade, go ahead and give it a shot. I think you may like it. Not to mention, it pairs very well with the Nightstalker's smoke to create an amazing wombo combo. And if you don't know what the wombo combo is, that is basically where you hit somebody with your smoke and your grenade, your smoke keeps them trapped, and your grenade does the rest. Third and final choice, you have the Vortex Grenade, a grenade that creates a vortex continually damaging enemies trapped inside. This is not that bad. It's a fairly generic grenade. The only problem I have with it is it has a little bit too small of an AoE, so it does not control too much territory. Because of that, I usually typically run with that Void Wall Grenade, like I said, for reasons before. Alright, up next we have our jumps. So you've got the double jump, we can go with higher jump, better control, or triple jump. For me, this is a very easy choice, guys. Run with the better control. It is going to give you an amazing ability to change your direction in midair and throw people's aim off quite often. It is a very fun tool and it's very underused. I have a feeling though, if you focus and really concentrate on your movement in this game, especially with better control and the Bones of Ao, you are going to be able to really juke people out and cause them to have no idea what direction you just went, and will be able to capitalize on that kill. Next up, it's the Shadowshot, the Nightstalker's super ultimate ability. Tether foes with void anchors, slowing, weakening, suppressing them for you and your allies. Shadowshot is pretty awesome in PvE, and it's not too bad in PvP. For this, we have a couple of options. We could run with Bloodbound. Tethered enemies explode when killed. Damage to tethered enemies is shared to all. This is a pretty cool ability, and I've used it a lot in certain nightfalls and stuff, and it works out to clear out a lot of enemies very quickly. After that, we have got Black Hole. The Void Anchor is increased range and lasts significantly longer and can tether more targets. Or you have got Quiver. Fire your Shadow Shot up to 3 times. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refunds. You get 3 shots instead of 1. Now your anchors have a very reduced range and they don't last near as long. And if you're someone like an Eagle Eye, you got Archer sitting in your controller and he is able to hit these people right between the eyes 3 times out of 3, you will get fantastic use out of this in PvP. However, most of us do not have the aiming god of an MLG Pro. Because of that, I think Black Hole is absolutely going to be the better choice for you. If you can hit at least 2 targets with that quiver, you're doing great. Black Hole is going to be much less situational, and you can use it in more areas more often and be able to get in my opinion, a better value out of it, as you can tether an entire team in a choke point or on a capture point, and you'll be able to not just yourself but your entire team lay waste into them, and it works fantastic. I used to always preach to use Quiver. I now use Black Hole, and I do much better when I do use that Shadowshot. For your smoke grenade, you can either go with Envenom, add a toxin that damages enemies within the smoke, Vanish in Smoke for you and your allies near your smoke explosions to vanish from sight, or we can also run with Snare, which allows your smoke to stick to surfaces, detonating when enemies are near, almost like a little trap that you set for them. This is very situational, as it can sometimes be difficult to predict exactly where someone is going to be coming from and be able to get them to walk into that trap. But when they do, they never see it coming, and it's a really fun talent to use. Out of the three, I recommend going with Envenom. It is a huge part of our wombo combo. It adds a little bit of damage with our grenade, and that will help us get more and more kills instead of them just being able to skate out and get their health back because they didn't quite die. So here you've got a couple choices: Path Forgotten, Path Forbidden, and Path Unknown. Go ahead and select whichever one you like. With me, I actually go with the more armor and recovery side of things, so for that reason I'm going Path Unknown, and over here I take away the Fearless, as the other ones just either drop my armor or my recovery just a little bit too low. So those are the way that I choose to run my setup. You can do whatever you're comfortable with. If you need, you feel like you need a little bit more agility, go ahead and do so, but I don't really think that I need that much agility, and when I have increased it, I haven't noticed that much more of a benefit. So for me, I want that maximum armor and recover, at least the maximum that I can get from a Nightstalker, which isn't that much compared to some other classes. In that last column, we have got Keen Scout. Sprint and sneak faster, gain enhanced tracker, and the ability to mark targets that you damage. Keen Scout is a very cool ability that I know a lot of people like to use, but they usually use a specific exotic helmet in order to get that ability, and that is an option that you can do as well. Next up, we have Predator. Decrease Shadowshot cooldown. Void anchors fired from Shadowshot become traps that stick to surfaces and wait for prey. So you can play a very sneaky, hunter capturing beasts in the wild type build if you decided to rock your Predator, and instead of the Envenom that we like to go, you could always run Snare. If you ran those two, you'd be really tricky, really sneaky, but you have to be very good in order to predict exact movements from the enemy in order to make this work effectively. Last, we have Shade Step. You press the circle button twice to evade. Now, this is a fantastic ability, and I see so many people that have it equipped but keep forgetting to use it. This is something that is going to help you be able to get out of the way of grenades, because the tracking grenades lose their tracking once you Shade Step. It is invaluable to, if you just want to peek out, see what's going on, and then use that Shade Step to get back out of danger. It is a very good movement tool, and it pairs very well with a little more high agility and the Bones of Ao, and we'll get to that in just a second. For my armor setup over here, as you can see, I like to run max discipline and max strength. We are so close on this build to being tier 12, but we're just a little bit shy on our points, but we're almost there. You would love to strive to get, up to tier 12, so you can actually have tier 2 in your intellect just to get your super back a little bit quicker. But if you can, you want to maximize your discipline and your strength, because you want to be getting your wombo combo back up very soon. You don't want to have to wait for that. Anytime you can have a wombo or at least a smoke grenade in your pocket, it is a very good get out of jail free card and can help you win almost every single one-on-one engagement if used correctly. For your armor, you have a couple of different choices. For your helmet, you could run with a Graviton Forfeit. Now, what Graviton Forfeit does is gives you one of your abilities for free, so you don't have to worry about equipping it, and it will give you the Keen Scout. So what I see a lot of people do is they will wear that helmet and go with Shade Step, so they don't have to choose between two of the best abilities here. They can just have both. For your arms, there really isn't much to choose from, especially for the Nightstalker. Nothing that we really get a lot of benefit out of, so I'm going to pass on any exotics here. For your chest armor, the only way I could see would be if you were running like the Crest of Alpha Lupi or something, if you were running Trials, just to give you a little bit quicker res. Other than that, I would stay away from any exotic that you've got here as well. The boots is where it's at. The Bones of Ao, these things have been never leaving my hunter for the past year. No, and I'm not talking just the Nightstalker. Any hunter class I do, I typically always wear the Bones of Ao. The only exception is when I want to really abuse skip grenades on my Blade Dancer, and then of course I'll go ahead and equip that Shinoba's Vow. But with this build, what we're focusing on, the Bones of Ao are fantastic. It upgrades your double jump with an additional jump. You pair this with the jumping ability that we've chosen for the better control, and it allows you to move through the air very quickly, and you can actually use this to cover much more ground than even someone with Blink could. So, for me, I love movement abilities. I love being able to evade, be quicker. So with this, I can move quick through the air with that, now double jump with the better control. And also, I've got the Shade Step to get myself out of sticky situations when I need it. It just gives you a lot of survivability and helps to really preserve that KD. Last and not least, what artifact are you going to run? I like to run with the Memory of Gellion with this build. Now, what the Memory of Gellion does, it grants a detailed radar, and your radar persists when sighting with your primary weapons. So this gives you the third eye ability and gives you a little bit of what the Graviton Forfeit does. So it's a little bit of the Keen Scout. You at least get the detailed radar from the Keen Scout ability. You don't get the tracking ability from when they go out of your line of sight back behind cover where you can still see them, but you get almost everything else from it. This is a very good poor man's Graviton Forfeit to use with this build. If you're really stuck like I am and love using the Bones of Ao, and you just you can't make room to use that Graviton Forfeit, the Memory of Gellion is a really nice substitute for you to give you that extra little detailed radar. Kind of feels like you're using Keen Scout. Alright guys, so that is going to wrap it up, boys and girls, for this particular build. Now remember, I said we have 2 builds, not just one. And it is a very, very simple switch that you do in order to make best work of this second build. Now, if you do not care about your tether, you don't ever really get much use out of it in a PvP match, you're either missing people or just not shutting down supers effectively, and you would just rather not have it to get a really big benefit to your neutral game, you can always switch out your Memory of Gellion with the Memory of Fellwinter. You lose your super, but you gain 1 extra grenade and an extra melee charge and a small boost to all stats, and your orbs grant melee and grenade energy as you pick them up. This completely abuses what is already a very strong neutral game that the Nightstalker has with his Wombo combo. If you have the Memory of Fellwinter equipped, you will almost always have a full Wombo combo charged and ready to go for any engagement you find yourself in, and that will make you a very annoying and a very deadly player at the same time. You might receive some hate mail, get used to it. They're going to be looking at their loading screens while you finish killing the rest of their team. So that's pretty much it for that second build. That is the only thing that I switch over to. One little change on that second build that you can do if you run with the Memory of Fellwinter, you can choose to go with the Frosties, the Frost EE5S, whatever it is. Those are really cool with the Memory of Fellwinter because whenever you're sprinting, and you're going to be sprinting and running around a lot in a PvP match, even if you're just getting from point to point, it recharges your grenade and melee quicker. So it's almost to the point of overkill on how many grenades that you'll be able to have and how many wombos you'll be able to have if you decide to, take off that Bones of Ao, put on the Frosties, and use that Memory of Fellwinter. It is a deadly combo if you love to abuse smoke grenades and your regular grenades, aka your Wombo combo. Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So glad you stuck through to the end of this. I know it ran a little bit long, but I wanted to go a little bit more in detail on some of these abilities, as not everybody out there is a super MLG level pro and needs a little help. In fact, I know a lot of people who have already messaged me saying that they just got this game this Christmas and are looking to get into it, looking for gods, looking for builds. Hopefully, this type of build will help you further your Destiny career, make it a little more fun, make you a little bit better at the game, and have a good time doing it. That's gonna do it, guys. If you thought this video was helpful, useful, entertaining, whatever, go ahead and smack that like button. It really helps the channel out. And leave a comment in the section down below, and I just might pick yours to be on the next video's featured comment of the day. But as always, this is LVnative. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.